It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 410. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe.
Hello.
Hello.
What's wrong?
The dog just went...
Oh, because she heard them getting ready to take her out.
But she was just like hauling ass out of here like Timmy was trapped in a well. I was like, oh my word.
It's very important.
Yes. It's just like, oh, Norma, she comes down and wants to podcast with us. And
She did until she knew a walk was incoming.
Yes,
and that became much more important.
yes. Well, she's taking part in the elevation challenge.
Don't get me started. Save that for later.
So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Well, the big news is this nutrition content. We have been talking about this for so long. Years. Like, this happened... Nikki and I were trying to figure out exactly when, and the first time we called it, and I'm pretty sure it's like 4 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago. It was back at the last time Peloton had a homecoming virtually.
Okay.
And at the end of that, all of the debate began that we thought it was coming.
Well, and didn't they register some domain names years ago that we were like, because Foley had dropped hints or something?
You know, Helper B. Nikki was going to check on that, and then she sent me the article, and I never looked to
Gotcha.
see if she included it
Yeah.
in the article. Did you look?
No, I did not. I think we all know the answer to that.
Yeah, I
Is
know.
no.
I was just trying to make you look bad.
Oh, that just made me look like how I look. Everybody knows.
They know.
They know.
They know.
You exposed nothing.
Well, I was trying to make myself feel a little better. Like, I'm still trying to figure out this new balance of life right now.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It does.
Yeah. So, before we actually talk about that, let's just get through the other stuff that we have on the show.
I forgot we weren't going down that road.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about YouTube dropping, not YouTube TV, regular old YouTube on Peloton equipment.
Regular old normal people YouTube.
And the new newsletter Peloton just dropped, how that's related to everything else. Peloton's adjustments that they have been making and how Wall Street is finally responding to them. The 100-day challenge that's coming up. We've got a new start date for that. We also have this interesting thing Peloton's been doing. They're pulling classes after posting them. We're going to get into that.
Okay.
We are also going to be talking about this Practice Your Power class experiences that have been occurring, and these new classes that you can book for Kirsten Ferguson and Denis Morton, not to mention more store closings, more store openings. Haven't seen that for a while. The announcement of the next earnings call date. And we've got a whole bunch of instructor news. And that's not even including all the stuff I cut out for the bonus episode.
Yes. So shameless plugs. Don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast. You can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you don't miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. Super helpful. You can also check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/theclipout. So it's $5 a month. And what you get for that is you get the pride of having helped the show. There's obviously a lot of moving parts that cost money, and that helps offset those costs. So we're greatly appreciative if you have the ability and the wherewithal to do something like that. So for $5, you get ad-free episodes. If we get them early, you get them early, and you get an entire extra episode pretty much weekly. And so this week we'll be talking about some funny marathon signs, an article that you guys wrote for the website, Peloton's refurbishment program, and which instructor is looking for a talent manager. So we'll talk about all that over on the bonus.
I just have to say that kind of sounds like a repeat of last week.
And
it's
not.
A different one.
It's not.
In case people have thought that.
Yeah. Like, oh, they're so lazy over on the bonus episode. I'm not giving them $5 for that. No. It's a whole different instructor. So, also don't forget to check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. while you're there, like the page, join the group. You can watch all of these over on YouTube, which you can now
watch on all your equipment. Check us out Friday mornings.
Yeah, you're basically a Peloton instructor now.
That's hilarious.
So am I guess.
Yeah. That's really hilarious.
Here, I just the pedal faster, row, stroke.
No.
Is that what they say?
No.
That's what, when you're.
No.
They say stroke.
No, they don't.
They don't?
No.
They should. It's
No.
rowing. It's rowing. Okay. Say that for Red Tube. And what's one? And pick up those knees.
Okay.
If they're on the tread.
Okay.
So I've done all the modalities now.
Okay.
I'm a triple threat.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything else I'm supposed to push? Oh, we got a newsletter. If you want to sign up for that, over at theclipbot.com. Okay, there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Okay, now you can
All right.
go in all this thing about nutrition, Peloton and nutrition. They've been flirting with this for a long time. Long time.
Just for the record, Helper B. Nikki could not find the domain names that we were talking about. Now, she didn't get much of a chance to dig into it because this all happened very fast.
And this would have, if the domain thing that I'm remembering would have been like
6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
like it was a long time ago. And we definitely have heard rumblings off and on. And honestly, there was even during the time that we were having a lot of interviews with Peloton, like behind the scenes
staff.
people.
Yeah.
There was even a comment made off camera that was not allowed to be included.
Yeah.
That we left out.
Yeah.
That, hey, this is coming.
Right.
Because I straight up asked the question.
Right.
Because there was something they were talking about that seemed linked to this. And I was like, so wait a second, does this mean it's happening? And they were like, cut, can't talk, can't include that. Like, oh, okay. All right.
So then that's not a no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, I kept the lid on as requested.
Yeah.
But like, even besides that, this was so long ago that we saw all these different things happening to line up. So, Peloton has had these instructors all talking about different things. They've been talking about different recipes. We've had recipe books coming out. And in addition to all of those things, Peloton has also just kind of skated around the verbiage several times for several years. And I can't remember the person who's on the board or whatever. They're like, it's not the board, but it's like their health
like advisory
coalition.
council or something like that.
Their advisory council. There was also something related to nutrition about that when that first started, which I think might have also kind of like piqued our interest. Like, And then of course, a lot of the instructors there's several instructors we have noticed have changed their eating habits, how they talk about their eating habits, which has also kind of piqued our interest and thought that this was all kind of coming to a head. Now, Peloton officially said last year that their nutrition content was going to quote unquote just be where these instructors were going to be posting
talking about it on their channels,
and that was it. That's all it was going to be. But we always suspected more. And here we are. Here we are. Years later, it's finally happening. It was also interesting that this popped up they're putting everything on their YouTube channel. That is interesting because today they sent out a brand new newsletter that I guess we can talk about later.
Okay.
What should I mess it up?
I was just like, am I supposed to change the images on the screen?
No. But it's all connected.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can talk about that more later, but I just think everything is connected.
I agree wholeheartedly. So do we know, is it just going to be, here's some recipes? Like what can we expect?
Yeah, that's a great question. They teamed up with Dr. Jamie Shear. Now, she is a licensed naturopathic doctor. She's also a registered dietitian. She has 20 years experience. She's been working in the New York City area for at least that long. And she says that this initiative aims to help members better understand how to nourish their bodies with content rolling out on both YouTube and Instagram. Now, Dr. Shear, when she was questioned, said that part of her goal is to help people not be afraid of things like carbs and to understand they need to eat fiber, both of which are those are huge things that Dr. Stacy Sims talks about, Christine talks about, all the doctors who talk about perimenopause, menopause, they are all talking about that.
Right.
Fiber is a huge thing. So I'm glad to see that happen.
For sure. Yeah. There's so much weird information in the world of food.
Yeah, there is. Like, don't eat carbs, eat all protein. And when you eat the protein, have like 3 times the amount you actually need.
Yeah. I've always said that nutrition is like religion. People find the thing that works for them, and then they scream at everybody else for not doing the same thing.
So true.
And then, of course, eventually they all become suicide bombers.
I don't think that always happens.
Okay. That might just be my personal experience.
Also, Dr. Shear did say that the weirdest combination that she has seen from an instructor at Peloton was peanut butter and sardines.
Okay. And she wouldn't say which instructor that was.
No.
But I think we can safely assume it was one of the pregnant ones.
So that's interesting. When I think sardines, I think curmudgeon-y.
Okay.
So I'm like, who's the most curmudgeon-y? Because my dad was always a big sardine guy.
I honestly wondered if maybe it was one of...
like a British instructor.
One of the international instructors where that's just a different palette over there. You know?
And that could be. We actually don't know if she was just pointing to the New York instructors when she said it's one of you,
That's
or
fair.
if she meant all of you. We don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, we don't know how much engagement she's had with the international instructors.
We don't, because since this has been in the works for years, who knows how long she's been working with them.
For sure.
Several of the instructors are listed as her clients. By the way, we're going to put up a little slideshow fun quiz, and everybody's going to get a chance to vote on who they think the instructor is.
Okay.
Because I think we all need to know who everybody thinks this instructor is.
Yes.
But there are several instructors that are listed as Dr. Shear's clients.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rebecca, Cody, Olivia, Jess, not sure which Jess, Emma, Hannah, and Matt.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Jess King. And the only reason I'm going to go with Jess King is because she is such good friends with Rebecca.
So you think she had more time to...
No, I feel like I have noticed, like, she's one of the instructors that people have said things like she's like, her skin looks more radiant than it ever has. Like, what's going on with her food changes? Like, something looks different here.
It's all the sardines.
And so I think it's Jess King. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
So those are the instructors that are currently on her roster.
So people love the entertainment tab on their Peloton equipment so they can do things other than just take traditional classes. And now into the mix comes YouTube.
Yes. Now, not to be confused with YouTube TV, which has been part of the beta for a long time.
Right.
By the way, I feel like it's a really important point to make that technically entertainment is still in beta. It's never not.
Really? That's so weird.
Not everybody has all of the entertainment options. Some people still, to this day, as of this morning, still only have Netflix. Go figure.
So odd.
It is so odd. And many people have reported they come onto their screen, they leave their screen. So technically this whole thing is still in beta, right? But YouTube is now part of the beta, I guess, officially. And before it was just YouTube TV, you had to have a YouTube subscription.
Right.
And then you could only see the content that was on YouTube TV. Now you don't have to have a YouTube subscription, and you can see anything that's on the entire YouTube.
So you can watch bootleg TV movies from the 80s.
You can.
Not that that's what I do.
No.
But you could if you wanted to.
You could also watch this podcast.
You could.
You could also do just about anything that's on YouTube.
On the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people have been jailbreaking their Pelotons for years just to be able to do this. It's like the biggest, most sought after request that people have asked for besides the pause button.
Yeah. You could watch real spoilers.
You could watch real spoilers and spoil all of your movies. You could do that.
And also thrown into the mix, it's been so slow for so long, and now it's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, we've got thoughts about that too.
Yeah,
don't forget the earnings call's coming. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's fair. We have Forward Motion, which is Peloton's newsletter.
Well, it's a newsletter.
And
it's their newest newsletter. Don't forget, last week we announced there's now a newsletter for Strength Plus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's, of course, the regular newsletter. Then there's the one they send out once a month to tell you what's new. This, we don't really know what the point of this is.
What makes it different?
What makes it different is it appears to be kind of like our radar article. Like it's like, here's things coming up, but also not, because then it's telling you stuff that's been out for a while. Like, for instance, on today's newsletter that came out, Just Work Out is new. Well, Just Work Out's been out for like a year and a half.
Right.
I don't know that I would call that new, but I guess they needed stuff.
Right.
So
maybe that's how long it's been in their draft folder. And they were like, oh, son of a bitch.
But
I meant to send this out.
If you take the theory that this nutrition thing that's been on the burner for a long time finally was able to happen.
Yeah.
And they put that on YouTube. And now YouTube you can watch on all of your equipment. So you can watch Matt do his oatmeal video.
Right.
Well, now maybe the newsletter is pushing the nutrition content.
Yeah.
Going forward. Maybe it's all connected.
Yeah.
It's timing would say that it is.
Maybe they have data that shows them not very many people are using the Just Work Out feature, so they think it's new to most people.
That could be.
So push it in front of people to be like, this is an option.
You are so marketing. That is a very marketing thought. Yeah.
All I could think of is how NBC with their must-see TV, when they would do like, when they were in reruns, they'd be like, if you haven't seen it, it's new to you.
That's true. They did say that.
And so that was my thought process. Because it all comes back to television.
Yes, it does.
So the website Investopedia.
This was in a lot of places. I just grabbed one at random.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Is reporting that apparently Wall Street's attitude towards Peloton seems to be finally improving.
Yeah. So analysts upgraded Peloton stock from buy to hold.
No,
I'm sorry. I said that
to buy. I was like, that's not an upgrade.
I'm sorry.
I know nothing about stocks, but I know that that's not an upgrade.
Yeah, I definitely said that backwards. To buy from hold.
There we go.
Sorry about that. And they set the price target of $11, and that is up from the average Wall Street analyst, which is kind of hovering at like
$3.80.
It was hovering at $10.20. Now the reality is it's still hovering. The actual price is around $6 to $7 an hour, depending on a share, depending on the day you look at it. But here's what's confusing to me. I know we have a new CEO.
We got a new everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
New marketing, all kinds of new things.
Peloton's got more lineup changes than Menudo.
But here's the thing. Like, what doesn't make sense to me, and I was actually talking to one of my, so for my new company, there are different stakeholders that I have to talk to, and there's like different levels. Mm-hmm. I was happened to be talking to one of the VPs the other day, and
you big shot.
Well, we were having a conversation about Peloton, ironically, and he was asking like, well, what's the latest? And I was like, so they just changed the CEO, and then they just the marketing person just quote unquote stepped down.
Right.
And he was like, wait, didn't they just bring in a new marketing director? And I was like, I know, 16 months ago. And so when he heard that, and this was my take on it too, these things actually are disruptive, and the fact that they're like having more quiet layoffs that like they're not putting out there, to me feels like bad news.
Right.
To me, this is like not good. But maybe the way Wall Street thinks about it is, we don't care as long as the profitability is there. We don't care how many people get fired. We don't care how many people lose their jobs, and we don't care how much disruption there is from a new marketing person, from a new CEO. We don't care about any of that. Now, maybe that's the way they think, but I think of it in terms of like, well, all that disruption is going to cause more issues, because it is. This is just freaking facts.
Yeah,
just freaking facts. So I don't know, but it makes me wonder what the earnings call is going to look like.
No, that's fair. So we talked last week about the 100-day challenge coming to a close, and now we have a new 100-day challenge, or if you're a completist, lump them together and make it a 200-day challenge.
You can't lump them together because they put a break between them.
Oh.
But the new one starts on May 26th. And just to reiterate, this counts every type of activity, whether it's meditation, yoga, Pilates, just work out, any of it counts.
Watching a YouTube video.
No. Well, I don't know if you're doing something while you're if you're pedaling. Yeah, I guess it does.
If you watch Matt make Power Zone oats
while you're pedaling,
that's a workout.
It is a workout. And let's see. So that is going to start on May 26th, and it doesn't just cover 100 days. It's 100 days, and then they give you some buffer because they don't want you to work out 100 days in a row. So I think that's important to know too. Yeah. People get very weird about that.
They sure can.
Also, this last challenge, a little bit of a disaster because they sent out these emails saying, you did it. Here's a code for you to go get 50% off in the boutique, which sounds great and all, but there's a few problems with that. One, not everyone who completed the challenge got the email.
Whoops.
Because for whatever reason, and this has been going on for years, people do not get the emails from Peloton. I don't understand what the settings are that makes that happen or not happen. This has been going on for years.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then there are the people that the system just miscalculated and they didn't get it. People had all different stuff. I didn't count it for this. I didn't get counted for that, and I should have been. And then they didn't make it. So then those people didn't get their now. Then there's a whole nother set of people. Oh, they got a coupon. Just doesn't happen to work anywhere besides the United States. No big. What the hell?
Yeah.
Come on. You can't send out coupons to everybody in the UK who did this challenge and just kidding, it doesn't work. Guys, what is happening? What is happening?
Yeah.
That's a big miss.
That is a big miss.
So, I don't know if they are going to fix that. I haven't heard, but they should.
So, speaking of things that are confusing people, classes are being quietly removed after having been posted.
Yeah. So this was originally posted on the OPP. So they said, okay, did Peloton remove a 30-minute upper body class with Katie that went up last week? I swear it went up and now I can't find it. And other people were like, yeah, this happened to me the other day. And apparently there's a few things happening. Sometimes they get pulled and they're put in a program, never to be seen again unless you take that program.
Okay.
Because remember, they're locked.
Right.
And then the other thing that's happening is they just pulled them down. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's an error. Maybe it was a music rights thing. Don't know.
Yeah.
Just got pulled down. No, nothing. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a little mini purge.
Yeah. But it also is a little gaslighting because you think you're going to go take that class. Just kidding.
Well, I saw someone saying that they had went into their history to try and pull it back up, but it was it didn't work.
It will error out. That's right. That's exactly right. And that is very frustrating whenever you want to do that. And it's one thing when you expect it to happen on these old classes because they were going to be more systematic about their purges.
Right.
But I think it makes me wonder if we're going old school on the purges again. It makes me wonder if this is going back to the days where oops, somebody said a bad word. Oops, somebody stood up. Oops, somebody's phone was going off.
Right.
So we just delete those now.
Yeah.
And get over it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just asking questions.
Just asking questions. And speaking of things that are confusing to people, Peloton has announced their Practice Your Power class experiences, but it seems like they pushed out something on Cody's Instagram where he's saying, join me, but when you go to the link, it's not Cody.
It's actually yoga with Chelsea Jackson Roberts and then yoga and meditation with Aditi. They both have meditation and yoga.
Gotcha.
So what's that about?
Well, and why was he, and he does he do yoga?
No.
Because it says join me for yoga.
I know. That's why we were all what?
So,
what just happened here?
Was it did the cat get out of the bag that Cody's going to do yoga?
I
believe they'll call it Koga.
I don't believe that for a second.
Or did someone give him the wrong image to share?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answers to that. And yeah, it was more questions than answers.
Yeah.
But you can go to this cool event and you can have meditation and yoga with Chelsea and Aditi, which is very cool.
And it's in Miami?
It is in Miami. Classes are $75 a piece, and it takes place on May 17th at 8 a.m. in Miami. So that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing.
Very. When you call it Practice Your Power, it also sounds like a power zone thing.
Or something more intensive than yoga and meditation.
Not that it's not a good thing, but yeah, power sounds intense.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
That's fair. So we talked about instructors taking on some new modalities, and booking is now opened for 2 of those, Kirsten Ferguson and Denis Morton.
That's right. So Tread Boot Camp with Kirsten on May 4th and a yoga and a meditation with Denis on May 9th. And maybe Cody's coming up. Who knows? We shall see.
So we have some a store closure and a store opening. So it's in terms of number of stores will be neutral.
It will.
Zero net gain. But so closed is Oak Brook, Illinois.
Yeah, which I believe is part of Chicago. I think that's one of the Chicago stores. And then
because if it's not Chicago, who cares?
I just meant it's a suburb.
No, I'm just saying that, like, outside of Chicago, like, where else, like, they try to put them in larger markets.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, outside of Chicago, like, Belleville, like, where are you going to put one?
You would not put one in Belleville.
No, exactly. So that's why I'm like, that's got to be Chicago adjacent. So, yeah. And then there's one opening up. Yeah,
in Fit Shop, Birmingham. I believe that's in the UK.
I would think so, because it said in the thing, it said like
it had letters in their zip code.
It said like not a country, not a U.S.
I said that.
I thought that you just cut and pasted their stuff.
No.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I think so. In fact, it makes me wonder if it's actually called like Fitz Hop.
It probably is. Yeah. Sorry.
All the people over in the UC are like, it's Fitz Hop.
They probably are. They probably are. Just like all the Chicagoans are going, it's not Chicago.
It doesn't count as Chicago. It's 37 feet outside of the city border. That might as well be Alabama.
Which is ironic since this is Birmingham.
Yeah.
And there's a Birmingham
That's
in
probably why
Alabama.
I was tough. And finally, for this segment, people are like, damn, these episodes are short now. We know when the next earnings call will be.
We do. It is coming up on May 8th, and it will be at just before stocks open, so 8:30 Eastern, so 7:30 our time. And of course, that's on a Thursday, so we probably will have a whole fun way of getting that
recorded.
I don't even know that we will.
We might not.
Yeah.
And coming up after this, we're going to talk about some lawsuits. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. It's going to be about lawsuits and Peloton, but you should know that by now.
Peloton in court. Who's suing Peloton now?
So we have a notice of settlement of shareholder derivatives, which sounds riveting.
Sure.
Riveting.
Yeah. So
what does this mean to people?
What I think it means is that there were all these people that got upset back in the day about Peloton not being open. In their minds, they didn't tell them that like the company was going to not do well. That like all of the signs pointed to everything was great, and then everything went down. So therefore, Peloton is responsible.
Is hiding information.
So this is a settlement that is saying that the defendants will cause their insurers to pay $1.75 million in attorney's fees, costs, and expenses. And then a final settlement hearing is scheduled for June 13th, and that will say it happens or it doesn't happen. And if stockholders who own shares as of November 15th, 2024 may object to the settlement by May 30th. It's not a class action lawsuit, and there will be no direct monetary payment to individual stockholders. So
nothing happened, but the lawyers get paid.
Always.
Yeah. Okay.
It's one thing you can always count on.
I thought we were at least going to get a coupon that didn't work in our country of residence. And we have another lawsuit discussion. We have more details on the lawsuit we discussed last week, 2 weeks ago.
I don't remember we talked about this.
I thought we did about an autistic employee suing Peloton, but I don't think we knew very much at the time. It was paywalled.
Oh, that's probably why I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was new, but maybe not.
But like, I think the details are new because we couldn't really find out that much. It's over in the UK, and I guess this employee was saying that they had violated, for lack of a better term, the British version of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess this individual, C. Saunders, who worked part-time at Peloton's Covent Garden studio, was placed at a substantial disadvantage because of his autism, ADHD, and depression. And the company's failures led to his resignation. So I guess because his claim is that because he had autism and ADHD, the loud music, the high energy environment was very hard for him to deal with.
Right.
And the company, Peloton, did not do enough to compensate for that and make him comfortable, even though he explained that it was very difficult for him.
Yeah, it sounds like Peloton was like, let us know when you need a break. And he was like, I need structured breaks, which that confuses me because if it's about sensory, like
you're not going to know.
You're not going to know. I am going to have sensory overload at 15-minute intervals, which is what he was requesting. And so I'm just like, or hang on, no, it's not. It's a structured system of regular 15-minute breaks. But like you wouldn't know with regularity when that's going to occur. So that sounds like providing flexibility would be a good thing. But then I guess that made, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, I think
it said Mr.
Okay. Oh, it does.
No.
You're right.
Oh,
it does.
Yeah.
Made him feel like, well, now he has to go and advocate for himself every single time, which I get can be.
Well, and I think that also if you have autism and ADD, there's also ADHD, there's also difficulty dealing with change. And from what I understand, there's also difficulty with what you could perceive as asking that question. Like that might feel confrontational to him if that is one of his symptoms.
And reading the article, it sounds like there was some disconnect between things that were said to him versus how he heard the things that were said to him. Because there are a couple times in the article where there says, that Mr. Saunders said that they said X, Y, and Z, and that the ruling body was like, that really wasn't actually that this was the findings of the ruling body, that was his interpretation, but it really wasn't what was being said. So I also wonder if some of that is part of his autism.
It could be. It could be.
And so that was just compounding issues.
Well, and this article was written as an HR article. And one of the things that it also brought up was they named 3 different cases that had similar aspects. And 2 of them were rejected that had very similar findings, and yet this one passed through. And the whole point they were making was, or at least this is how I took it, that these things are so nuanced,
right,
that it can, you don't know. So as a company, you have to err on the side of over communication, over accommodation, like being really careful, or you could find yourself on this side of losing.
Yeah.
So,
but I really don't know what Peloton can do in a situation like this, because as the article even addresses, like their business model is loud music. And so how do you function in an environment like that if that's too much for you?
It's like, I'll take this guy out of it and put Sydney in it. Like Sydney goes to, her job is to watch dogs.
Right.
Well, I would say she's not fit for the job if she was scared of dogs. Like I would be like, well, then you can't do that job.
Right.
Like you're not able to do that job.
Now, before someone yells at us.
Yeah.
Being scared of dogs is not a disability.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I was just saying that to me, there are like, if you can't handle or sensory process loud music, then loud music is not for you.
Yeah.
Therefore, you can't do that job.
Yeah.
That's the only comparison I was making there. A disability is clearly different.
Right.
Of course.
I was just trying before.
No, I know. I was just explaining where I was coming from.
Yeah, it's difficult to unpack. And if they said in the article, I missed it. I don't really fully understand what his job duties were.
I think they were purposely vague.
Yeah. And so
probably to protect his identity too.
I mean, they say his name.
I know, but
yeah. But I guess because I'm like, if you're taking on like maybe a role in the control room
that could be different than
if you're working at the front desk.
Or if you're one of the people that has to go in and like support classes actively while they're occurring. I mean, loud music is in there. Or even supporting behind the scenes while the classes are going because the loud music is there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that you can really like if an instructor couldn't handle loud music, they couldn't be an instructor.
Right.
Like maybe one instructor's loud is a different loud than a different instructor.
Yeah.
But they still would need to be able to handle it.
Yeah. I just thought the last paragraph or the last two paragraphs, one addresses the thing I said earlier. It says the tribunal found that Saunders was remembering not what the manager had said, but his impression of what he meant, and which did not amount to unlawful treatment. And then it says his claim of indirect discrimination also failed. The tribunal found that Peloton's requirement for staff to perform front of house duties did not amount to a provision, criterion, or practice that placed disabled staff at a particular disadvantage, especially as Mr. Saunders had opportunities to apply for other roles and adjustments were in place at various points. So like it was very nuanced in that they won on some, not on others. So it's a lot to it can be a difficult world to navigate, even if your intentions are the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very tricky. And I would like to think that everyone wants to do the right thing for each person. Like I would like to think that everyone's intentions, their agenda was good. You know, the Peloton people. I would like to hope that.
Fingers crossed.
That. Yeah.
Instructors in the news.
Continuing our conversation of things Peloton did this week to confuse people. The Peloton Studios Instagram account had a post, a kind of snarky post.
It was, yeah.
Calling out Peloton instructors. Apparently there was a staff meeting called of some sort.
The instructors get together as a big group once a quarter.
Right.
So this was that retreat. Like it was all of the instructors getting together. And the social media post that originally was posted was like, when call time is 8 a.m. Then it had video of every single instructor coming in and time stamped. And only like 2 made it before 8 a.m. And lots of people immediately were like, this makes no sense. You're telling me Matt Wilpers was an hour late?
Right.
We call bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone was really confused by this.
So, speaking of Wilpers, he wasn't having it.
He was like, false.
Yeah.
Breakfast was from 8 to 9 and the event started at 9. Well, that is a very different story.
And then he has images of people coming in at like, one of them I think is Ash Pryor coming in at like 8:03.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when you look at it from 8 o'clock on, like I think Adrian Williams was the only person that actually, maybe 2 people, Adrian was one of them, made it before 8 a.m. Everybody else was after.
Right.
And it's just like, all these instructors are not going to be late to this. Like it did not make sense. Now, the social media team did post I can't even call it an apology.
Yeah.
I can't even call it an apology. They called it a correction. They said issuing an official correction. Call time was indeed 9 a.m. We strive to be better journalists every day. And I was just really struck by that because I was just like, you called out an entire team of instructors on a super fan account because that is what the Peloton Studios account is.
Instructors that have like a combined 30 million Instagram followers.
Yeah, I was just like, that is bonkers.
Yeah.
Just bonkers. I know nobody meant anything by it.
Like, even if it was true, like, it's still kind of like, oof.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
It is. Like, that is a great question. Yeah. And it kind of makes you wonder, just like, I mean, with more layoffs happening and we don't know exactly where, who's looking at this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, who's hitting post without reading it? And that's not even to say like a specific person did it and they were trying to be snarky. What I mean by that is like, part of a helpful review process is to have another person look at it to make sure that it's received the way you intended it.
Right.
Not because you're too dumb to do that on your own, but when you're moving quickly, you don't always see that or anticipate that.
Yeah.
I have certainly made many of those missteps myself, but I also don't have a team.
Right. Yeah. Well, you do now.
I do now,
Yeah.
but I didn't then.
Right.
And so to be able to have those reviews is a critical part of the process. And if you're going to be a $1 million, billion-dollar company,
right?
You need to have somebody reviewing this stuff.
Yeah,
that is important.
You're not the Wendy's Twitter account,
Right.
which is notorious for being
snarky. But that's different too, because they're not being snarky to their own employees.
Exactly. Very odd.
Yeah, very, very odd.
Very, very odd. Ash Pryor completed her first half marathon ever.
She did. I'm just so proud of her. I mean, I knew she would. I was never doubting it at all, but she doubted herself.
Well, I knew you would complete your marathon.
Well, that's different.
And you doubted yourself.
That's different.
Immensely. So there.
Whatever. That's different. She's an instructor.
You're Clip Out Crystal.
But I just think this is really cool that she did it and she posted it. She was clearly so excited and stoked about it. She posted a lot of fun videos from the day and lots of fun photos. Congrats to Ash.
So Tunde took to her Instagram to tease some big news, and that's all we really know.
It is all we know. She told Katie Wong something, and then she posted Katie Wong's reaction, which was epically, it was like,
is she crying? Is she screaming?
I think
what is happening here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was like when you told Dr. Jen that you had secretly been working out for a year, it was that level of shock, whatever it was.
Tunde secretly hasn't been working out for a year.
She looks amazing. So
if you haven't been, well done. Why would you ever do it again? You look great.
So we don't know what the big news is.
Yeah.
The only guess that I've seen has just been that it's a non-Peloton new thing, some kind of collaboration,
new venture or something. Yeah.
So we'll find out.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Bex Gentry has a new Instagram series coming at you with Nike.
Yeah, she does. I think this is really fun. It's called Uncomfortably Yours. So they go and they run, Bex and some amazing superstar runner. Okay. And then she asks them super awkward things. Like, I hear you have 4 siblings. Rank them. It's called Comfort Zones because the shoes are comfortable and the questions aren't. I think this is great.
That's funny.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. Good for Bex.
Susie Chan is celebrating her birthday with a run challenge.
This is fun.
Which confirms that Susie and I have very different definitions of the word celebrate.
Well, okay. So Susie has a very big milestone coming up, and it is 50 years.
And she said that.
She did.
We're not outing her.
No, this is part of her announcement. And I also don't think that anyone should ever feel ashamed of that, especially somebody as accomplished as Susie Chan is.
Yeah.
She's a freaking superstar.
For sure.
But as part of her celebration, she wanted to put together a special run challenge. And the goal is to hit 100 miles in the month of May to celebrate Susie's birthday with her, which I think is amazing. Yeah. I probably won't be doing it though, because I've been so focused on strength and not as much running. But I am going to cheer everyone on who's doing it.
Benny Adami is doing a PSL takeover in June.
He is. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how often. I think he said he's done this 2 other times. So it's his whole group coming in and they will be doing a class together.
Gotcha.
And I know how much he loves these. He loves to be able to have everyone there and celebrating with him. And I really appreciate his excitement about this.
And coming up after this, we're going to have a past guest update. Peloton has poached one of our past guests and is creating content with them. And of course, we'll dig into all the content and stuff that should be on your lookout.
Past guest update.
You might remember past guest Tori Phillips.
Yeah, she's got a really cool story. And Peloton is sharing it.
Yeah.
But there's more to this. I wanted to make sure her leaderboard name, and I believe it's her Instagram, also Finding Torikins.
Okay.
That's that rings a bell for me in a different way when I hear that.
She was episode 386.
Nice.
If you want to find her.
Thank you, Tom.
That's what I do.
But what I think is also a part of the story here is that Peloton has been sending out emails to people all week saying, hey, share your story. Like, what is your story leaderboard name? And then they have a place for you to go and submit it. And then they're going to be sharing them like we've been doing for 8 years. But I love that they are highlighting real members.
Yeah.
They should be. They should be.
Yeah, and Tori had a significant weight loss journey.
Yeah, and then she had like a whole weight loss surgery story too.
Yeah.
And because like they the skin
Right.
from it, and like that was a whole healing process, and she shared all of that. Like it's a great story.
Yeah.
Very inspiring.
So it's nice to see her getting that sort of attention.
It is good for her.
New content.
It is time for the TCO Top 5. You tell us your favorite classes, and then we tell them back to you. Number 1, your favorite ride.
Your favorite ride. Okay, so this week, Helper B. Angie wrote up this article for us. Just wanted to make sure that we give her lots of love for pitching in. And the first ride is 30-minute Pitbull 2-for-1 ride. And Ali Love and Camila taught this one on 4/24. And Deborah Anzelon loved this ride. She called it a lot of fun.
Number 2, your favorite strength.
So Callie taught this class that was nominated. It was taught back on March 19th of 2025, and it was a 30-minute Sabrina Carpenter full body. And for Wendy Unwin, this class marked an exciting milestone. She had just finished Tunde's 4-week upper body strength program, and she proudly shared, I've gotten stronger, upped my weights by 5 to 10 pounds. Her words say it all. Progress, power, and potential were center stage.
Awesome. Number 3, your favorite run.
So this run was taught by Robin, also Pitbull. It was the 30-minute Pitbull run that was taught on April 24th. And Andrea Jordan said this was a nice, easy run, which you don't often see paired with the word Robin.
Yeah.
So that's fun and celebratory all on its own.
Her leggings are peach. So
They're not yellow
look for peach leggings from Robin.
when she's laid
It's the
back.
opposite of yellow. Number 4, your favorite Power Zone ride.
So Christian Vandeveld is crushing the top 5.
For a guy that hasn't been around, like, people are like, why is he still on their website? Does he even still have a
because
key?
they all wanted classes
Yeah.
with him, and it was like, I don't know what took so long to get these classes
and like
back.
now you can't get the guy out of the studio.
Well, this class actually was taught back on November 17th of 2024. It was his 45-minute Power Zone Classic Rock Ride, which I have to say has been on our charts more than once.
Yeah.
But it is one of those classes that it's a great go-to benchmark class, and a lot of people use it as that. And Jason Sofer said that it was an amazing ride and great music made it more bearable. So there you go.
And finally, speaking of yellow, it is your unstackable.
All right. So I have to call out that Robin has triple yellow on. Okay,
So the amount of yellow makes a difference?
It does.
Okay.
It absolutely does. This is a 30-minute Tabata ride that she taught on April 3rd. And this is definitely an unstackable. Angie Mitchell couldn't say it better than, and she's the one that wrote the article.
Yeah.
This playlist was fire. So she loved the playlist, and it helped the braking efforts, the PR braking efforts feel unstoppable.
We will now take a look at this week at Peloton, what happened, what's coming up. We will start with shadow boxing.
So yeah, shadow boxing. It's been a while since we've had some brand new shadow boxing classes, and there are several new ones that are dropping this week. There's a shadow boxing core, and there's going to be new classes that are pairing with core work, and those classes are going to be from Jermaine, Rad, and Selena, and those classes all dropped on demand this week, so you can go check them out.
We also have 30-minute Sweat Steady Ride with Jess King.
Yeah, this is a favorite of people, and it's back this week. So low impact, but very high energy, this was live on Monday, April 28th. So it's on demand now.
And you also have a 10-minute Core with Robin.
Yes. This also dropped on demand this week, April 30th. This one is going to incorporate foam rollers into the core workout in this particular class.
And Selena has a 30-minute Miranda Lambert walk for you.
So Selena has a class dropping on demand Friday, May 2nd at midnight Eastern time. So that's going to be fun too.
Over at theclipout.com, we've got a review for people of the Boost Your Base Power Zone program.
Lots of details in the article, some of which are questions because we knew that this was coming. We knew it was going to be considered a program, but then it got changed to a collection.
Right.
So Elizabeth has been following all of this. She's really super into Power Zone. She's on one of the Power Zone teams, and she has lots of things that she wants to know about this. So a few things to note. Peloton did not end up using the Teams function like they kind of indicated they were gonna.
Okay.
And you can get a special badge for it on your Challenges tab. And it's only valid for people to get that badge if they got it when it first launched on April 21st, 2025.
Okay.
So kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing about collections versus programs. So that's been now answered. We know it's going to be a collection. And this is going to be all endurance classes. There's some people who are really not happy about that because it's 8 weeks of endurance classes 3 times a week.
That's a lot of
That's a lot.
It's a lot of enduring.
It is a lot of enduring. It is. So who is the question for? And Matt said in the first ride that it's ideal to complete Boost Your Base after you've done Discover Your Power Zones, but before tackling these other Power Zone programs that are available on demand. So it's a lot of focus on endurance, but it's still sort of a beginner course. And then she gives a little bit of a list of what those classes look like. And here's her pros. Easy to schedule and plan, predictable efforts, not overly taxing, which means you can do harder work in other modalities, variety of instructor styles, and musical genres. Cons, lack of variety in efforts. It's all zones 2 and 3 for 8 full weeks. May not fit your health goals. No interval bursts. Duration of the entire program feels long compared to other programs on demand. Limited social interaction. I think those are all fair points.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a Cliff Dwenger fan, all of his classes moving forward will have English subtitles.
Yes, that's it. That's the update. That's
the
exciting.
Update. That's the whole thing. But,
I love it.
I'm sure there are a lot of people that will be happy about that.
Absolutely.
Cody's British Adventure is now available for you to peruse. Tea Time with Cody.
It is live and on demand for those people who want to take it. I have no interest in this.
Not everything has to be for you.
Nope, that's fine. That's perfect.
And finally, there is an elevation challenge for May.
All right. Here's the deal. It's for climbing 150 meters for walks, runs, or hikes. That's it. It's not about your row, because that's flat. And it's not about...
What if you're rowing a waterfall?
And it's not about your bike. And I don't understand why anybody would want a badge for climbing 150 meters on a bike. That is a light day.
Yeah.
It's just that's a little jaunt compared to a walk or a run or a hike. Like,
now, if you do it on your row, I think you deserve a badge.
that I definitely agree with. Also, I'm not saying they shouldn't have elevation challenges for bikes. I'm just saying it should look very different.
This wouldn't be much of a challenge.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So, people are real salty. They want the bike to be included. To me, it's just, I don't even understand.
It's so apples and oranges, you can't.
Yeah, and every time you get on the bike, like, I'm not talking about people outdoors, I'm talking about people indoors. When you get on the bike and the instructor says, turn to the right, that's your resistance. You win uphill. So every time you increase the resistance, boom, you win uphill. You don't do that on the treadmill.
Right.
That's why I really think this is a behavior thing. Like Peloton is trying to get people taking hikes and walks and runs.
Right.
They want them to use the elevation more, and they're not using it. And I feel like this is just trying to check another box to say, we have this many people doing this on our treadmills compared to these other people. I don't think it has a thing to do with anything other than that. That's just my opinion.
So we don't have any birthdays this week. So
that was quick.
That brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can also find me on Threads and Blue Sky. and Instagram, and of course the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Blue Sky and Threads at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group, all the stuff. Don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/theclipout. $5 a month to get all sorts of bonus content, which we're going to go record right now. You also get early episodes. If we get them early, you get them early. And of course, ad-free episodes. And most importantly, our undying love and affection.
Undying.
So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling.
And running.
And rowing.
Clip in, set yourself free.